Okay. Today, Salesforce Development Day 2. Whoever is joining for the first time, I would request you to go through the demo, which is already there in my YouTube channel. Swapna for Salesforce is the YouTube channel. Please watch the demo. Recently, I have given so that you will know what is Salesforce, why Salesforce, and what are the things that we need to know. And how is the job market and what is the salary range? What are the roles and responsibility based on the type, Salesforce consultant or Salesforce architect? What are the roles there? Okay, so let's move on. Today's agenda will be going through the previous session interview questions, and then we will talk about tags. Don't worry, I'll explain these tags, and we will talk about creating the developer org. Then we'll have a Visualforce introduction, and then today's interview questions. Okay, this is our agenda. So let's see interview questions. Roles in Salesforce is already explained in my demo class. Multiple times I have explained. The recording session is also available in the YouTube channel. You can just go and review that.
No, ma'am, sorry, like I'm just asking, like you have been working in Salesforce, right? Like, so I'm asking about your role, like a developer, architect, there will be many roles, right?
Okay, my role is I'm a Salesforce consulting manager as well as a solution architect.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, then so let's move on to the previous session interview questions. Okay, I have received the response. 14 responses I have received. Out of 30, yesterday the count was 33. Out of 33, I have just received the responses only 14. What happened? Is the questions confusing? Did anybody look into that questions or what happened? I know Ram has a confusion on that. We will discuss anyway. But what about others? Why there is this very less response? Out of 33, if I remember count, yesterday's count was 33. Out of 33, I just got a 14. You did not get the question, okay. Okay, let's see. First question, what is an instance in Salesforce? Anybody, what is an instance in Salesforce?
Instance is nothing but like in creating of the server inside of the application. We have to develop the application.
So the instance, it's basically a hosted server somewhere, let's say in Europe or India or Northern America or Southern America. This is the instance.
Yeah.
Instance is a server. Each instance contains multiple orgs.
Right. Right. So instance is a server. It is a server. And instance resides inside the region. So based on the region, the instances will be there. So if as we have seen the region, if I go to the status.salesforce.com, we can see based on the region, the instances will be displayed. And within the instance, there are multiple orgs will be there. So if I select the region, EMEA, all the related to the region EMEA, the instances will be displayed. So instance is nothing but a server, and instance resides inside the region and instances contains the multiple org. Right? And next question, what is the org in Salesforce? Yes. What is the org in Salesforce? Org or organization. What is the org in Salesforce?
In the summary, we can tell that it's basically specifics, organization, data, metadata with users information.
Others?
It is a place where you can do development, testing, and the sample checking and all those things.
Org contains all the 4 boxes, which is developer sandbox, partial copy, full copy, and production.
Okay.
It is a specific organization's data, and it has multiple orgs residing on the same instance.
It is the specific organization data and to store the production data.
Okay. Any other answers? Perfect. Yeah, go ahead. Somebody is talking.
Yeah, hi, Swapna. I am Nabu.
Yeah,
Arc is nothing but like we have to develop all the partial copy sandbox and all testing like fully copy sandbox production data. All the data we have to enter.
Perfect. Okay. So let's see, what is the org in Salesforce? So this is the way, first of all, how can we create a org? So we have to go to the site where it says developer.salesforce.com/sign up, right? So here we have to enter 8 fields are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? We have to fill all this information wherever the star is there. That means that is the mandatory information. For all of them, it is asking the mandatory information. So we have to fill these all information and then click on a sign me up. Now what happens when I click on a sign me up? Let me open the Paint. Okay. Let me take something of this. Okay. So right now we are creating the org. This is what this is org. In order to create a org, we have to fill all this information. Right? But did you observe something while creating the org? While creating the org, did you observe there are 2 fields? The other fields are normal, first name, last name, email, role, company name, these are normal. But have you observed this country and postcode? That is the main important key for the backside logic. So what happens is whenever you click on a sign me up, Salesforce has somewhere the logic has written. What is the logic has written? It will take country and it will take the postcode from this screen. Whatever the user has entered the country and postcode. Combination of this country and postcode, it will try to identify what is the region, which region is it falling into, which region is it falling into and which instance. Then it will check everything and finally it will create a org within the instance. It will create a org within the instance. So the first criteria the Salesforce is going to check, it is going to check what is the country that user has entered. And the second criteria is what is the postcode that is entered by the user. Take these two details and the next criteria will be identify which region is it following it. Region means, if you see here, let me go back, trust.salesforce.com. Okay, so it will check whether is it falling in EMEA or Americas or Asia Pacific, because you will be giving the country details. And then it will try to identify the instance. Within the instance, it is going to create a org. Creating a org is nothing but what? What it means, creating a org is nothing but within the instance. The instance is already there. Within the instance, it is going to allocate some space for this org. What will happen within the instance? It is going to allocate some space and it will give you one unique ID. So 00G. First, it will create a unique ID for your org. Some org ID it will be generated, and this org ID is dedicated for you, and there is a space which is allocated within the instance. When we say space is allocated within the instance, what it means? It is going to allocate data. We have a application storage, file storage, data storage, right? So everything it will allocate. Now, whoever is created the org, they can see the information. Is anybody created the org?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If
I
you have
created.
created the org, you can see the information. Let me show you that. So is this part is clear? How the org is generated by Salesforce and how the instances within the instance, how the org is allocated the space. How org is stored within the space.
But you have to specific code, right? Or maybe like it's a randomly it's created maybe.
Salesforce might have written some logic. That's the reason it will generate a unique identifier for every org.
Okay.
Swapna, can we change region later on after creation of org?
No, I have not seen anything that kind of a scenario. We cannot change it. Because once the ID is generated, ID is nothing but there is a meaning for ID. If you know your for every unique ID, there will be a meaning for that ID. For example, you have a Aadhaar card, right? Aadhaar card has something meaning on it. I'll tell you what is the meaning. So here first 3 letters, which stands for some A to Z. Some letters will be, this is the common number. P stands for your tax and K stands for your first name. So wherever you see the unique ID is generated, that unique ID will have some kind of a structure. So your ID also might be having some structure. Let me show you that. I'm trying to find my org. Just give me a second. Okay, so every unique ID, there is a meaning for it. Without the meaning, that means whenever the logic is written for the unique identifier, it always have some combination which is going to give the clarity for the developers. Okay, whoever is created the org, log into the Salesforce. This is the first time we are logging into the Salesforce, so do not worry if you see anything here which you do not know. Okay, just follow me, what I'm saying. Guys, open the org.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, type here, you will see setup, home, object manager. Are you guys able to see these three? Setup, home, object manager. If you are able to see, just type here company information. Type here company information and click on that company information. Are you guys in company information? Whoever is not created, we will do the steps today. Okay, in the company information, observe this. Come to the little bit down. Here you will see salesforce.com organization ID. Do you see here salesforce.com organization ID? And this first three letters are common, 00D. There is some meaning for this org ID. And also it is saying that instance AP16 because I gave the postcode, which is the India postcode. And the address is India I gave. Right? Right now, if I want to change the org, if I want to change the instance, see the memory location is already allocated for my org. Whatever the org is there, for this, there is already allocation happened within that instance. Now we cannot change it. If you want to change, maybe you have to raise a ticket to the Salesforce support, but how much will they able to help you? I'm not 100% sure. Finally, they will say that you have to create another org. Because there is a space which is already allocated in the instance, that means everything is done. Now you cannot repair your org, which is not possible in Salesforce. We cannot repair by changing everything. Right? Here you can see organization ID. And this is the organization edition is developer edition. There are different editions are there. We will discuss later. For now, we have created for developer edition. So organization is developer edition and instance is AP16 because I have given the address and postcode which is related to the India. Right? And organization name, I gave the Samskar IT. And you see here, there is a file storage. How much is there? Data space is available 298 KB. Whenever there is a memory location is allocated, that means it has created the data storage and file storage. Data storage and file storage. So what is the data storage for the developer edition? Data storage is for the developer edition is 298 KB, 298 KB. File space is 13 KB. Okay, you can click on this view. Okay, you can click on this view and you can see if there is any, if there is in case any allocation is happened, you will see there is a less allocation here. And here limit is 5 MB. Right now I have created the new org. That's the reason we cannot see anything used here, right? You can see all the information. Data storage limit is 5 MB. Used is 290 KB, 298 KB. And file storage is 20 MB and used is 13 KB. This is by default. Whenever we create a Salesforce, this is how it will come. What is the limit and how much it is used? Because whenever we create a developer addition, there is some data which will come, right? By default, it will come. And you can see why there is a 298 KB data storage. Here is that they have divided. There are some opportunity by default it came. There are some cases which came by default. Leads, contacts, campaign, Salesforce itself will give some data to us. What is the file? Storage is 13 KB and content bodies is 2 KB. So you can observe this, how much space you are getting it whenever you create a developer addition. In real time, we will have a unlimited addition, right? So this is the used database. Used database is 298, but actually how much it is available? Database is available 5 MB and already used file space is 13 KB, but we have 20 MB. So if you look at here, it says that limit is 20 MB. Out of that, 13 KB is used. And also you can see more information here. We have a user license, permission set license, feature license, and user usage-based entitlement. So you can see all of this. For now, don't think much on this user license and permission set license, feature license. We will discuss more into the admin. So right now, these are the licenses we got. That means I can create two Salesforce licenses and one is already used. Who is that one already using it? I just created the org, but who is using my license? There is a Salesforce license and it is saying that only 2 licenses, and it is saying here used license is only 1. And right now I have only remaining 1 license. Who is using 1 license?
Admin.
Admin. Because whoever is creating the org, whenever you click on here, sign me up, there is an org ID which is created. The by default license is Salesforce license. By default license. Okay, we will see that in detail later, but these are the things which you are going to get it. And Salesforce will give you all the information in detail. Okay. So back to the paint.
So Swapna, again, I have one question related to instance.
Mhm.
So the example you given, it's a developer edition example, but let's suppose let's take the example of production organization. Okay,
Mhm.
so let's suppose at the time when I created my production environment, my all the customer or user are based out India, but
Mhm.
later on my business expand and my users are also available in US or UK.
Mhm.
In that case, how let's see, because at the time of instance creation, maybe region my Salesforce region is in somewhere in India, but
Mhm.
my users change later on. How I can change my region of the application?
Okay, so right now I have created
Hmm.
this org as a India, right? So when I was in India, I created it, but right now I'm in Dubai, I can access it, right? So basically wherever the client is there, okay, wherever your clients are there, we have to create a org that client specific, but later they can expand it. Okay, when I say they can expand it, means they can, everybody can use it. It is not restricted. When I give a India address, only India team has to use it. No, if I create a Dubai using the Dubai client, India team also can access this org. Anybody can access this org. There is no limitation on that.
But latency will be high for remote user who are in US and UK, because this application is hosted in India.
Right. So that is the decision is taken by the clients. If clients feel that their organization is moving out of Dubai or moving out of some place, they have to decide it. That's all dealing with the client and Salesforce.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so organization is nothing but memory space is allocated inside the instance. Now let's go back to the questions. Let's move on. Okay. What is Sandbox? Yes, what is Sandbox?
In Sandbox, we can perform the development activities.
In Sandbox, we can customize, develop.
Sandbox is a place where one can develop or one can test the things.
It is a copy of production org where we can develop, test, and deployment or development.
It is a sandbox is a place where we can test and development without affecting the production data.
Okay, so Sandbox, Salesforce Sandbox. Salesforce Sandboxes are copy of production environment. Copy of production environment, and the Sandbox contains all the configuration, customization, apps, and what are the code that needs to be implemented, metadata, everything will be available in the Sandbox. So it's a simple, straightforward. Sandbox is the copy of production where all the metadata will be available in the Sandbox. Now, this is the question. Okay, what is the difference between the org and Sandbox? What is the difference between the organization and Sandbox? Come on.
If the org contain the only production data, Sandbox contain all kind of data, development, unit testing data.
Org means which is already created.
It is already
created,
yes, yes. Who is 785119? Who is 785119? I don't know what is that. Please, who is that? I cannot continue the class if I do not know the person. Sorry, I'm removing it. Okay. Yes, guys, go ahead. What is the difference between the org and Sandbox? Come on, think. What is the difference between org? Yeah.
Sandbox is the copy of production environment. Org is to save the production and data.
Ma'am, I think our consists sandboxes or contains sandboxes.
Sandbox is subset of organization. Like for example, we have production org, staging org, testing org, and Sandbox is also a kind of org.
Yeah.
Yeah, org is a of data and metadata, which is a space, and which the data and metadata will be developed by Sandbox and applying to the organization.
Okay.
Org is the organization's actual or the real data, and the Sandbox is the copy of the org.
Copy of the
organizations data.
Okay,
Way of production.
go ahead. Yeah, somebody is saying something. Org and Sandbox.
Sandbox is a testing environment, whereas the org is a production environment.
All the sandbox are available in the org.
Okay. Anybody?
Arc contain different sandboxes.
So sandboxes are different, like for different development for the different and partial sandbox will for testing, I think. So different kind of sandbox for developing the code and customization of the code and kind of.
Right. Okay. So first of all, the org or organization. Okay. So the org is created by Salesforce. Okay. Created by Salesforce. Right. And it is fully customizable. And Sandbox. Sandbox is nothing but a copy of your Salesforce org setup. And who will be creating this org?
Application architect.
Administrator.
Within admin or developer, solution architect will be creating. Right? And here, organization org limits are applied on daily creation. That means here limits are provided by Salesforce. And these limits are applied on daily creation. That means client will be logging into the org, users will be logging into the org, and users will be creating their credentials, and they will be doing some actions in the Salesforce. Based on the daily activities, the limits are applied based on daily creation of users. The limits are applied. Here, limits are based on Salesforce Sandbox. If you are creating the developer sandbox, then that is a different limits. Developer sandbox does not contain any data. If you are creating a partial sandbox, then there is a half of the data. If you are creating a full sandbox, exactly copy of the production org, right? Limits are based on the Salesforce edition or Salesforce Sandbox, the one which you are creating it. And the org will have a high storage limit. The production org has a storage because it has a full storage. And coming to the sandbox, it's based on how you are creating the org, right? So based on what are the sandbox you are creating, based on that, the storage will be allocated. If you are creating the developer org, then it is a very less, right? If you are creating a partial, then it is a 200 MB or something. We will see that while going, what are the differences between the each sandbox. So basically, org and sandbox differences are Salesforce Sandbox are replica of the production org. And by the way, Sandbox does not contain any live data. Does it contain any live data? No, it doesn't. Whereas org has a live data. User can or client can come to directly this org and they can enter the real-time data. So the live data will be on the organization. Sandbox level, no live data. And in the organization level, we have a active real users or active users. And in Sandbox, users are nothing but admin or developer, business analyst, or solution architect or tech lead. These are the users.
Ma'am, for a sandbox, there is a production sandbox, right? You said like there is no live data. Like clients can come and do in, or they can also do in sandbox, so like for a production sandbox.
Production sandbox. You are pronouncing two different things.
Okay.
Okay. First of all, this is different and this is different. Both are different. You are combining together. Basically, for production, we call it as a org. Production we call org. We never say production sandbox. We should not say that. Sandbox is nothing but where the internal team is using. Basically, you divide it. Whatever the client is using the org, that is a production org. Whatever the developers or admin or whoever is implementing the org, whoever is implementing the application, they will be having a sandbox. Both are two different. So here, I'm talking about the differences between the production and sandbox. But you are combining it. Never combine two things together. These two are different.
Okay, thank you.
Client will be available. Client will be coming to the production. They will not come to the sandbox. Sandbox only the people who wants to implement the application, who are implementing the application, they will be in the sandbox. And in the production org, we will have active users, the real users who are using the application will have active users. Here in Sandbox, we will not have active users. Because that is internal purpose we have created ourselves. Right? So basically, why we are creating the Sandbox? Sandbox we are creating, though I have a production org, but why we are creating the Sandbox? Because we want to implement first in the Sandbox and we wanted to test the org and check all the requirements are working perfectly or not. Once it says that everything is working fine, then we will move the changes to the production. So it's a copy of production. Sandbox is a copy of production. Right? As we have seen yesterday, first we have to implement the changes in developer org. Then we have to move the changes to the partial copy. And then we have to move the changes to the, when I say we have to, developer has to move the changes to the full copy. Full copy is used by the client to test it. They first test it. If somebody want to use the application, first what we will do, even if I wanted to install the app in my mobile, what we will do, first we will check how it is working, whether it is working or not. Somebody has to give the preview. Somebody has to give the information. This app is really good. You can check. This is what it is happening. First, we will check how it is working. What are the options it has? Everything we will check in the application. Same thing. Client will be checking all the options here. If clients are happy, then we will move the changes to the production, which is a live org. We will move the changes to the production. Production will be accessed by the client or will be accessed by the users, end users.
Ma'am, here sandbox means like which is going on the back end, right?
Sorry, sandbox means?
Like which is like not visible, which is going on the back end is called sandbox, ma'am.
Sandbox is, so basically sandbox is nothing but the developer or the testing team, whoever is using. You see here developer, partial copy, full copy. These we will call it as a sandbox.
Okay, ma'am.
So,
This is the
Swapna,
production.
few minutes back you have created a developer Salesforce. So that is developers. That is the addition of a developer sandbox.
No. Do not get confused. That is the developer addition.
Okay.
Okay, here we are talking about developer sandbox. This is different. This is different. Do not get confused.
Got it.
We have a different additions. Salesforce has given us to practice the Salesforce. They have given the addition called developer addition. Okay, that is completely different addition. Here we are talking about the sandboxes.
So that is org, development org.
Yeah. Yes, developer sandbox, developer orgs, developer sandbox. You can say that.
Ma'am, I have listened like somewhere a developer pro sandbox is also there. Is it? Or is there any difference between those with these three?
Yes, there is a developer and developer pro is there, but these two are used by the developer itself. There is a difference. We will talk that when we do the deployment. That time we will discuss about that.
Okay.
So there is a developer pro will be there. So basically these two are used by the developers. Okay, let's move on.
Swapna, it's different for org and production, maybe?
No, org and production both are same. Production, we call it as a org.
Okay.
So that's the reason when you go to your real-time production or real org, you will see that there is a org ID which is created, right?
Yeah, it's nothing but whenever we have to log in, that is like org, maybe it's called org or different menu.
We call org. One of the interview question is, how many sandboxes do you have? That is the one of the interview questions. Okay. Because every project will have either 3 or 4. And they will ask what kind of a sandboxes you have. And we have to say developer sandbox. You can say either developer pro, either one you can say. There is a difference in the data storage, by the way, between the data developer and developer pro. Apart from the data storage, there is nothing much. So this interview is, they will ask how many sandboxes do you have and where you have worked on. So we can say that we have 3 sandboxes, developers sandbox, partial sandbox, full copy sandbox. Only say these 3. Do not include production sandbox. Do not say that. By default, every project will have a production. So whenever they ask a question, how many sandboxes? 3 sandboxes. And where did you work on? Which sandbox you have worked on? Developer sandbox. And where the testing has happened? Testing happened in the partial sandbox. In real time, we call testing partial copy. We call it as a UAT or a staging. Testing sandbox. We say that testing sandbox in real time. Okay, and full copy, we call it as a UAT and SIT or staging. Okay, do not get confused. These 3 sandboxes, we have used it. And they will ask, have you done the coding in the production? Some silly questions they will ask. We should not be doing any coding in production.
Ma'am, just now we have created a ID in R. So that is there any, we can create any ID in Sandbox also?
No, the ID is, you are talking about the organization ID?
Yes, our ID we have created now, ma'am. Few minutes
Okay,
back.
by the way, this ID we have not created. Salesforce has created and gave us. It's similar like I'm applying for Aadhaar card or I'm applying for Emirates ID. That means, am I generating the Aadhaar card number? I'm not generating it. Government is generating and giving it to me. So here Salesforce is generating at the back end and they are assigning the unique ID to this particular org. And we cannot change that.
Yeah, Swapna, I have one doubt. Arc is different, like a production, same quality as production also, maybe?
Yeah, can you repeat that?
Arc is different and production is different. Maybe it's the same. Like
same, org is same, production is same. Some people call it as a org. Okay. This is my org. Some people say that this is my production org.
Previously, you created a login, yeah? Right now, login org. That is called production only, no? Like it's a org only, and
can you repeat that again?
Previously, you logged in, no? Right now, it's org.
This is a org.
Okay. That is called like production also, we can call it.
Yes, developer edition is a, I can say org.
Okay, it's an entire application, maybe.
Yes, yes.
Okay, yeah. I cleared that.
Okay, whoever has still questions on the sandboxes, yesterday I have given the clear-cut information about the sandboxes. You can go through that, okay? Still I'm getting a questions saying that what is the sandboxes and everything, right? So yesterday we have discussed this clearly, right? Developer sandbox, partial copy sandbox, full copy sandbox. And then we have this is a production org. So these sandboxes are copy of the production. Okay. In real time, you see 4. There is one more which is called Developer Pro. But details about that we will discuss later. Okay. Developer or Developer Pro. Whenever you go to the org, okay, it will show which sandbox do you wanted to create. Which sandbox do you wanted to create it? So it will ask, there are 4 types will be there. Okay. So let me pause my video for a second. Okay, we'll see more in details about the sandboxes. I can show you that. Because in developer sandbox, you cannot have sandboxes creation here. It will not be available. Fine. Keep this question for tomorrow. I'll show you that how it will be in the real time. Okay, developer sandbox contains, what it contains, the developer sandbox, production data, sample production data, or no production data?
No production
No
data.
production data.
Yes. That's right. Partial sand copy sandbox contains, partial sandbox contains.
Sample production data.
Sample production data.
Yes, sample production data is the right answer. Full sandbox contains
All
Full
production.
production data.
All production
All
data.
production data.
all production data, right? Which is exactly copy of production. Production or contains
All production data.
Production data.
Production data.
All production.
All production data.
All production data.
All
Live data.
Sorry, somebody said last. What is that?
Live data.
Okay. Who uses the developer sandbox?
Developer.
Developers.
Developers.
Developers and testers.
Developers.
Ma'am, for unit testing.
For
Unit
testing,
testing
developer
is done
will
by
do that.
developers, not the tester.
Okay.
Who uses the partial sandbox?
Both testers and
Developers
developers.
plus testers.
Testers and developers.
Both tester and developer.
Okay. Who uses the full sandbox?
Client.
Client and developers.
End users and client.
Okay. What developers, testers will be doing in the full sandbox?
They'll just observe.
Observing.
Ma'am, developers will observe the full box.
I think client will only.
Client and
To
the tester
exact
will have
copy of production.
So what is the question then? Who uses full sandbox?
Client only will use the.
Client only.
Client will be using it.
So testers and developers will not use it?
They just watch it whenever the client raised the question. For example, client raised it.
Any
So
custom requirement is
whenever they
changed
raise a question, then the tester or developer will come to check what is the issue that is raised by the client. They will not do anything there.
Okay.
Who uses the production org?
Client.
Client.
Yeah. Which sandboxes is dedicated for developers?
Sandbox.
Sorry?
Box.
Developer sandbox. Okay, sequence. What is the sequence for moving the code from one sandbox to other?
Developer, partial, full, production.
Partial, then fully.
Developer sandbox, where the developers will be implementing the application and they will move it to the partial copy. Tester will be testing the testing the application in partial copy. Then developers will be moving to the full copy. Full copy has who will be using? Clients will be using it, and whenever there is a case, then testing team and developer will be working together with the clients. And finally, we will move it to the production org, where the clients will be using it. Whoever is written do not know, are they clear on this?
Yes, clear now.
Okay. What is the web link to see the instances and regions?
Data store Salesforce documents.
Yeah. What are different regions in Salesforce?
There are 3 regions, ma'am. EMEA, Americas, and Asia Pacific.
Yes. EMEA, Americas, Asia Pacific. We are not asking the country. So read the question clearly. They might ask in the interview, your instance is with on inside which region?
North America.
What is covered in consulting and admin?
Cloud computing, CRM, and Salesforce basics.
Right. Admin?
Security and
Security,
data, custom and
lightning
configuration.
flow, reports and dashboards.
Customization regarding different clouds like sales,
company customization,
cloud,
Mm-hmm.
and service.
Okay. So next one, what framework or programming is used for user interface development?
Visualforce.
Visualforce for classic and Lightning Aura framework in Lightning development.
Right. So here the question did not mention whether it is a classic or lightning, or it is generally we are asking what framework or a program is used for user interface development. So in Salesforce, Visualforce is for classic, Lightning Aura, LWC is for lightning. And we use the JavaScript. Okay, here are the question. Okay, which programming is used to develop business logic in Salesforce?
Apex, SOSL, SOQL.
Apex, SOQL, SOSL. Okay, which programming is required for a lightning?
Our components.
LWC Aura and LWC Aura.
LWC or
Lighting design system too. Everything, all.
HTML, CSS, JavaScript.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, ma'am.
Yes. So the question is, which programming is required? We need HTML for implementing the user interface, CSS for styling, JavaScript for the logic, Lightning design system for styling, Aura component for implementing the changes in the Lightning, web components. All of them, we need it. Scenarios where integration is required in Salesforce.
From transferring data from outsourced to into a Salesforce.
Outsourced into Salesforce, okay.
Sending messages.
Sending of an information.
Mm-hmm.
From one
end to
API
another.
to another API.
Where integration is required in Salesforce. Write down scenario where integration is required in Salesforce. Give me the scenario.
When we want to connect two orgs, then there will be integration will be used. Like if you want to create a org, like it should reflect in another org, there we can use integration.
In Amazon, when the delivery time based on the postal code, the delivery time depends on it. So it strikes the postal department API. And then
in bank servers, so like whenever we have to credit it, we get a SMS like a credited or debited, like SMS. Date we have to
Okay.
on that scenario, payment.
Yeah. So all of your questions, all of your answers are right. So Amazon or Flipkart, or whenever you are doing the payment by clicking on the button pay, what happens? It will go to their integration starts and connect to the third party system.
Orders also maybe.
Orders means exactly
Like tracking ID, we get like fetch the details like a pin code. Whenever we get like 2 days or 3 days, it's reflecting. Maybe.
right. That is based on the postcode. So based on the postcode, there will be a integration happen to the third party system, and third party system will return back to the area of or location. So based on that, the Amazon or a Flipkart will decide how long it will take to receive the order.
Yes.
Okay, what is JSON?
JSON is nothing but like it's a format of script.
Formatted the data.
Formatted data, yeah.
Convert data into lightweight and transfers into another.
Ma'am, it's a simple text based data, simple text to store the data.
Right. So JavaScript is a open standard file format. Okay, so what is API?
Apex programming.
Application programming interface.
Sorry, application programming.
Who is that Apex?
No,
Sorry, ma'am, I thought it is Apex.
You are thinking too much, huh? You are truly
Just
involved into the
confusing.
Apex. So API is application programming interface, which enables the two software component to communicate with each other. So using the API, we can implement the conversation between the two components. What are the different APIs we have in Salesforce?
REST and SOAP.
REST, SOAP, charter also.
Yes, all four. REST API, SOAP API, Streaming API, Charter API. What are different front-end technologies to develop user interface?
HTML, CSS.
HTML, CSS, JavaScript, Aura, LWC.
Okay.
In Salesforce.
Right. In Salesforce, HTML, CSS, Lightning, Visualforce, Lightning Aura, LWC. And outside also we have different, like somebody has written React Native, Angular, all of those. What are different technologies used for business logic?
Apex.
Apex, Java, .NET.
Apex.
Yes. Yeah, Ali, you are saying something.
Yeah, I think we can include as well with advanced flows. We can use it to business logic.
You're right.
Ma'am, SOQL, is it correct?
Sorry, Jyoti.
SOQL,
Yes,
the back.
Apex, SOQL, SOSL.
Okay, thank you.
Now, next one, why Visualforce is required when there is a lightning?
Migration.
Because there are few companies which are still using the Visualforce and they are trying to migrate the data, migrate the components from Visualforce to Lightning. So for migrating, they are looking for the people who knows the Visualforce and Lightning Aura. So for now, Salesforce required Visualforce and Lightning both. What are the different tools required to work on Salesforce?
Console.
All three.
Do we need a developer console?
Yes.
Do we need a Visualforce?
Yes.
Do we need a CLI?
Yes.
Yes, all three of them we need it. Developer console to implement the logic, Visualforce.
Visualforce is a tool.
It should be supposed to be Visual Studio.
Visual Studio it should be.
Yeah, it is a Visual Studio. It is by mistake, it is mentioned Visualforce. And CLI for the deployment. Create Salesforce Developer Edition account and paste the Developer Edition login user ID. Okay, most of them are created. Perfect. So let's move on to. Okay.
Ma'am, can you explain 27th question once again?
27.
Yeah.
Okay. So here there is a mistake here. It should be Visual Studio. Okay. Developer console.
Yeah, ma'am, 26th question, I think.
26th.
If there is a Visual Studio, yeah, this is this one.
Are you asking this question?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Okay. Why Visualforce is required when there is a lightning? Okay. So there are few companies who has implemented the applications long back by using the Visualforce. And they are still maintaining that code. And for example, you got a job in the same company. Okay. And their project is they wanted to migrate all the logic from Visualforce to Lightning. So right now we are in the period. Right now we need Visualforce and Lightning because Salesforce says that we have moved into Lightning, but there are still companies who has the logic within the Visualforce. So they are right now moving to all their Visualforce logic to the Lightning. But then it is required people who knows Visualforce as well as the Lightning.
Ma'am, what is the difference between Visualforce and the Lightning? Is there any specialty or anything in the Lightning compared to the Visualforce?
Yes, there is a lot difference between the Visualforce and Lightning. We will see further. But initially, when Salesforce is introduced, Salesforce introduced the Visualforce because in around 2010 or sometime 2007, that time Salesforce is in Classic. And if we have to implement a user interface, there was only one option is Visualforce. By using the Visualforce, we have to implement the user interface. Then later on, Salesforce has started migrating Classic to Lightning. When they started migrating Classic to Lightning, what happened? Visualforce was not supporting the Lightning. This is at the beginning when they were trying to move. When they are trying to upgrade Classic to Lightning, all the Visualforce components were not supporting for the Lightning. Then they started thinking on it, implementing some new or introducing some new technology here instead of Visualforce, where it is going to support all our Lightning. So then they have started introducing the Aura. Aura is a third party. So all the tags, whatever we are using the Lightning Aura, it has a third party tags there. And then later, Salesforce thought much ahead by looking at the performance, and they wanted to give the flexibility to the developer to implement the open source with a high performance with modern JavaScript. Then that's how they came into the picture, LWC. We will see in detail going further, but for now, this is the information. So there is a lot of differences. After some time, we might not see Visualforce. We just see Lightning Aura and LWC. When I say sometime, maybe 3 years or 4 years. Okay, so let's move on to our topic. Okay. Now, yesterday we got a clarity what we are going to learn in development. Right? What are we going to learn in development? As per the Salesforce certified pattern. Okay. As per the Salesforce certified pattern, Salesforce suggesting to learn first UI, user interface. That means we are going to first focus on Visualforce. We are going to first focus on Visualforce. Then we are going to focus on logic. Because first implementation is design. If I have a clarity on the design, if I have a clear picture in my mind, then we can implement the logic whichever the way we want. So the first focus is to understand the design, like creating a button, creating the input fields, and creating some link, images, everything we will understand from the user interface in Visualforce. And we will try to implement first, all our focus will be user interface. Then slowly we'll jump onto the logic. When I say logic, the business logic, which is written in Apex. Apex, or we use Apex, we use Socle, we use Saucer, right? Then we will come to the slowly here, and then we'll do all the logics, how to write everything we will cover in the Apex. Now, before we start the Visualforce, we need to understand something called tag. We need to understand a tag. What is this tag? You hear most of the times during our classes, I'll say HTML tag. And then we'll say Visualforce tag. And I'll say Lightning Aura tag. And we'll say Lightning LWC, Lightning Web Component tag. Then, but what is this tag? Whoever is for the first time entering into the programming, please concentrate here. What is the tag here? Okay. So tag is nothing but whenever we are implementing the user interface. Let's take an example. Any user interface. I'm not talking about the Salesforce, any user interface if you implement. Or if you take a Salesforce also, if you are implementing a user interface, we write a logic within the, like it has to start with the tag. It has to start with the tag. So tag is nothing but where you have a less than and greater than symbol. Wherever you see less than and greater than, in between this, there is a predefined text will be there. Inside this, there is a predefined text. What is the text? We will talk it. But you see here less than and greater than. Wherever you see this, there is a text which is having the less than and greater than. For example, there is a P and it is closing with this. So this is called P tag. This is called P tag. And something like a BR. This is BR tag. I'll talk about that BR tag. So whatever we are writing within this less than and greater than, we call them as a tag. Tag is nothing but a keyword which defines, let's write down. Tag is nothing but which defines how text should display. How text should display on web browser. How the text should be displayed is decided by this tag. Let's take an example. I'm writing here this sentence, which how text should be displayed on web browser. Now, whenever you are preparing a resume, okay, you want some text to be bold. You want some text to be underlined. And you want a picture to be placed in the document on the WordPad, right? Here, who is deciding while preparing the resume? You are deciding it. Because in the WordPad, you have some option to bold the text. Control B is to bold the text. And underline, you click on that underline and there will be an underline will come below the text. That is WordPad is giving that information. But while implementing the program, how you will decide, okay, I wanted to print this information. Let's say that I wanted to print, hi, Samskara, IT. Okay, we are in development course. I wanted to print this line, these two lines in web browser. And here I wanted to make this hi Samskara IT should be in the bold. Now WordPad has the option, that's the reason I'm able to select it. But here, while implementing the logic, while writing the program for user interface, how can I make this text as a bold? And how can I make development course as an underline? Everything is decided by whatever the text we are putting here inside the tag. Right? So we will, in our entire course, whenever we are implementing the user interface, sometimes we will take a HTML tags, Visualforce tags, Lightning Aura tags, LWC tags. Now, what is the HTML tags here? There are predefined tags. There are predefined tags, which is provided by, let me open Google. Just type here HTML. Okay, you will get this W3 schools. Okay, in the W3 schools, just scroll down and you see here HTTP method, click on that. And then you will see all the tags here. All the tags. So for example, let's take P tag. What is the P tag here? Okay. P tag is nothing but if you want to print a text in the paragraph. Now, first let's understand here HTML tags. There are few HTML tags we will be keep on using our classes. First one is B tag. And tag always starts with, it has a starting tag and closing tag. Closing tag means this one. You will see the slash here. So this is called closing tag. And this is opening tag. So tag will always have closing tag and opening tag. Open and closing tag. Whatever the tag you take, whether it is HTML tag or Visualforce tag or Lightning Aura tag or LWC, every tag has an open and closing tag. How can you identify? If there is no slash here, that means this is an open tag and this is a closed tag. Okay. So here B tag is nothing but if you want to display the text in the bold. To display the text in the bold, on web browser, you can use the B tag. And we will be also using the P tag. P tag is nothing but to define a paragraph. To define a paragraph. And also we will be using another tag which is called as a break tag. Right? Break tag is nothing but to insert a line break. To insert single line break. It will not give more than that. Single line break. To insert single line break. Where we use this break, if you have address, okay, you wanted to show the address details. So address details should be first your building name, apartment name, and the street name, and then your city, country. It has to be step by step, right? For that, you can use the break. And also we will be using the, I'll come to that point, okay? So also we will be coming to, also we will be using the H1 and there are few tags H2, H3. These are headers. These all are headers till H6. This is to define the heading. To define heading. To define heading. Okay. And very rarely we will be using another tag called iframe. Okay. Iframe is nothing but basically you have a frame. Okay, you have the frame. There is a, let me show you that. Okay, so there is a frame. So inside this frame, you wanted to put a URL here, complete website you wanted to put inside this. Right, within the frame, you wanted to fit the, or you wanted to show the complete website, like whatever we are seeing here, the W3 schools, right? You can see entire page. Instead of that, I can take this URL and I can show that entire page within this frame. I can show entire page within this frame. So that is an inline frame. Okay. And most very important for the developers, comment. How to put a comment, whether it is a HTML tag or Visualforce tag or lightning aura tag or LWC tag to put a comment. So before any line, if you wanted to add some comment saying that this Visualforce is to build the calculator logic or calculator UI. So whenever you wanted to place it, this is the starting. This is the starting comment and this is the ending comment. Okay, this is for the comments. Perfect.
Can you please show the example for the comment?
Yeah, we'll come to that. We will go step by step. So here I'm saying that open and close. Every tag has an open and close. Okay, but it is not necessary open and closing tag should be there. There is a self-closed. There is a one is open and close tag, and also there is one more is self-closed tags. Right? Self-closed tags means here you see breakpoint, open and close is there. Now basically break is nothing but what? A line break. I'll not be writing anything between this, right? Here I'll be writing some text. If I wanted to make it a bold, I'll be writing the text which I wanted to make it as a bold. And if it is a paragraph, then I'll be writing a paragraph within the open and close. Whatever the text that we wanted to perform based on the tag, the text has to be there between the open and close. But for the break, for the line break, I do not have to write anything within this. Open and close, I need not to write. So ideally, for the break, we just use the self-closed. Self-closed means you will see BR, then slash. There won't be this. Because there is nothing to write between the open and close. Right? When you do not have something to write between the tags, between the open and close, just use the self-closed tag. Just use the self-closed tag. Self-closed tag is nothing but I need this tag, but there is no text that I need to mention within this tag. Clear, everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so if you have any questions, so what you can do is you can go to the w3schools.com. Okay, you can go here, try it yourself. Now you see here, H1 is the element. Okay, for example, let's talk about the paragraph first. So now you see here, paragraph is each sentence is a paragraph. Now you might be thinking that there is no difference if I write a without paragraph or with paragraph. I don't see that any differences. There is a difference. So if you remove the paragraph here for the first two and click on run, what happened? It's not a paragraph, it's just a single line. And if you wanted to make it a bold, so what you can see, you can use open, bold, and then close bold. Run it. So this became bold. Now, after this, right now it is in first line and second line, both are coming in one line. Now you wanted to put a break. So break, use this. Right? Break, you can use this. What will happen? It is a single line break. If you wanted 2 lines break, use it multiple times. 2 lines break this is. Okay, let's see the comments. So how to put a comment? So comment is, as soon as I mention open comment, see everything went into the flow. If I run this, what will happen? There is nothing. Because there is no close tag here. There is no close tag. I have not mentioned the close tag. So when I click on a run, what happened? It thought that everything is commented, only this part is available, only that it showed me, right? The P element is showed here with the header 1. Now, let's say I'll put that I'm learning. And then I'll close the tag. As soon as I close the tag, see, it's came back and click on run. Perfect. Is my comment showing here? No, it is not showing. This is for developers to understand. If tomorrow somebody comes, if tomorrow somebody joined in the company and they were not there while implementing the application, right? The application is already implemented, is it with the client right now? Client is using the application. Now somebody right now joined and the client has reported an issue. Now the new developer, whoever is joined, if he has to look at the code, it is so difficult if there are thousands of lines here. Usually we all write 1,500 lines, right? Whenever we are implementing the logic. If you are implementing a more than 500 logic or whatever you are implementing it, put a comments so that tomorrow whoever is joining the company or whoever is looking at this code, they will understand what is the purpose of this logic. Assume that you have written some big logic here. Put a small comment here. What is this logic? What is the output of this? So we have to always put what is the input for this and what is the output for this. And what is overall description, what this particular logic is doing. We have to put this because this will give clarity to the person. And another way is the person can directly search it. If they have an issue with field or some field name call or some, let's say field name called tax. Tax field is having some issue. So directly he can search where the tax is calculated. If you write a description here, tax is calculated in this logic, then immediately the person will jump here. So comments are very important for the developers to put. First, put a comment, what you are going to implement and what is the input are you expecting for this and what is the output you are expecting. So this way you can write a comments and click on run. Your comments will not display for clients. Your comments will not display for clients. And same thing, there are H1 to H6 are there, right? So let's see the differences between the each header. So this is H2 and header 3, header 4, and finally let's give it as a header 6. Run. See, the highest one is header 1. Then slowly it is decreasing. This is a header 6. Perfect. Right? So in Salesforce, the break is one of them. We usually use it. Bold, we use it. And paragraph, we use it. And the headers also we use. Headers tag, we use it. And another one, which is an iframe. Okay, we will see iframe later because that has to be an image or a website has to be in line within the iframe. And another one which we will be using is called div tag. Div tag. What is this div tag? Div tag defines a division or a section. So basically, if you want to divide or you wanted to place this particular as a one section and you wanted to apply some color for this div, in that case, we will use the div. Let me show you the div. So here, if you go and try this yourself, so whatever the line you see here, this is within the div. Div, right? Header 2, this is the heading in dev element. Paragraph, this is the paragraph. And outside of the div is closing here. I'm opening the div here and closing it here. Then after closing the div, we have a paragraph. Now, how this styling has happened, let me take out this and click on run. Right. So this part is div part. Now, if you want to differentiate between the paragraph and you wanted to apply some border and some background color and text alignment, then you can do that styling. Do not worry, do not look at this code. If you are confused, just forget that, okay? So what we are doing is we are just making it as a beautify. Whatever it shows here, if you want to beautify this page, then you have to add a class. So class is the attribute for div. Okay, we'll talk more about the class, but assume that class is a attribute where we are applying some style to the div. So basically within the div, whatever we have, the class, the styling, everything will be applicable to all the text that is written in the div. So let's write development course. I'm writing normal text. See here. Because we are opening here and closing here. Whatever we are applying the styles or whatever we are applying some beautification to the div, it will be applied to the all the text that is written between the open and close. Clear? Any questions?
No, ma'am.
Ma'am, can we control the text size also using any tag between the
Yes.
paragraphs?
Yes, we can. We'll see that further. We can do that. And thank you for asking that question. Let me tell you one thing. So this is a tag. Okay. Tag is nothing but, as we have seen, bold tag, paragraph tag, and div tag, everything will be there. Within these tags, okay, within these tags, every tag has some attributes. Every tag has attributes. What are these attributes? For example, you are using the paragraph, or you are using the bold, or you are using the div. That particular tag, you wanted to apply some style, or you wanted to change the font, or you wanted to increase the font, or you increase the font, or you wanted to on click of the paragraph. As soon as I hover and click on this paragraph, there should be a web page or image should be open. So on click. As soon as I hover this mouse on this customizable, I wanted to see some text. So on hover, these all are attributes. Okay, every tag has a different attributes. Tag is the on higher level. You can directly go ahead and use it based on your requirement. Whatever the attributes are available for that tag, you can use it. Right, so we will see this for each tag, what are the attributes are there. And out of these attributes, there are some attributes which are required. That means whenever you are using a tag to implement user interface, it is mandatory that you have to use a name tag. This is just, I'm giving an example. Here the mandatory attribute is name. Mandatory attribute is name. That means whenever we use a tag, a name has to be there. If name is not there, system will not allow you to save the program. So for each tag, there will be a different required fields are there. It's not that every tag will I have a name field required, name attribute required. No. Every tag has a different attribute that is required, and there are some tags which it doesn't require any required attribute. It does not have any required attribute. You can directly go ahead and use it without attributes. Without attributes, I can directly use the tag. But there are few tags, whenever you are using the tag, you have to use the mandatory attribute. You have to use the mandatory attribute. So what is happening here in the attribute beautification? Tag is already doing the beautification, bold is happening it, but on that bold, I wanted to apply italic style. I wanted to increase the font of that bold. I wanted to make it as an on-clickable. So more beautification by using the attributes. Right? Any questions before I move on? So we hardly use those tags, and some styles also we will use it. So today, please go through this HTML w3.school. Let me pin you in the chat. Whoever is new to the programming, how many members are new to the programming here? Okay. Whoever is new to the programming. Okay, good. So, fine. Okay. So guys, I suggest go through some of them. I'll give you the assignment. So first of all, you have to log into, you have to go to the www.w3 schools tags _div asset. Okay, please practice paragraph tag and break tag, and then bold tag, div tag, h1 to h6 tag, okay, and we will be using some more. Okay. Just understand this table, okay? Don't worry about this, but just understand the table tag. I cannot say that like it is not mandatory, but just understand this, because we will have different tags for the Visualforce also. And in the Visualforce, we will be using this table tag if you want to implement the table. So just go through this, we will see tomorrow. So within this table tag, we'll have a row tag. TR is nothing but a row tag. TH is nothing but a header tag. TD is nothing but cells. Note down table and then row, header, cells. That's all, I guess. So that's most of them we will be using in our real time. iframe, don't worry. We will do one program on that. I did not hear you. And also A tag. A tag is nothing but hyper. You just click on this, try, go to this page and click on this, try it yourself. Okay, so A tag is nothing but to display, to show it as a hyperlink, and as soon as you click on this, it will take you to this page. Okay, this is the W3 schools page. This is to display the hyperlink. Fine, guys. So that's all about today. Oh, sorry, we have to create a development arc. Let's go ahead. Open the developer org. Do you have it, guys? So open this link. Please follow the steps. Open this link. Who all are with me right now? Perfect. I want a communication, two-way communication.
Yes, ma'am, we'll start.
Okay. So can you open that link? Enter first name, last name. Give your email ID. Working email ID. And then give a role. Developer, or if you are administrator, give, but right now give it as a developer. Company name, Samskar IT. Country, wherever you are, India, Dubai, US, UK, you can mention the country and give the postcode. Then give a name here. For example, Madhu Mohan, right? So if you give here, like Mohan, whatever, then give it as a Samskar IT. IT.com. And then click on a sign me up. Click on button, sign me up. Once you are done, you will see this page. Almost there, please check your email to confirm your account. Okay, check your emails. You might be receiving this email. Verify the account. You will be receiving this, verify account, and this is the org and username. Anyone received the email? So once you receive the email, click on this verify account. It will take you to change your password. you will take the screen. In new window, you will see change your password. Change your password and give a security question answers. Give a security answers. Select the question, whichever the question you can remember, select the question and give an answer here. Where are you guys? Did you receive email? Yes, deliver. Not right now, because right now we are in still starting stage. Okay. Once we know the concept and once we are like much aware about the Salesforce, then we can suggest you to go through the trailhead and we can read the another book. Because right now we don't know what is Salesforce, what all things will be there in Salesforce. If we start reading the book right now, it won't help. So let's understand the functionality, let's understand the code. Then we will be aware, at least we know that what is used in the Salesforce. If we read the book, then we will able to understand clearly. Okay, is anyone received the email?
Yes, ma'am. Completed.
Okay. So this is the password. You have to enter the password and enter the security answers. Then click on change password. As soon as you are done, you should be landed to this page. So you will see setup, home, object manager. There are 6 dots here. We will talk that later. This is the page you will see. Okay, I would suggest everybody to create it.
Ma'am, hello.
Yes. Yeah.
Can I use my old account?
You can use it, but are you using that account for the trailhead?
Yes, ma'am.
If you are using it for trailhead, it will be problem. Either it will be problem for our project or it will be problem for trailhead. Because we will be changing all security things and everything, we will be doing it.
Yeah.
We don't need to read any books deliver. This course will be enough, our course material, these notes. We will provide from January 9th.
Okay, then that's all for today's session. We'll meet tomorrow. If anybody has any questions, I'll be available.
So we'll